In this lesson, we will be discussing the Missouri Nurse Practice Act. The Nurse Practice Act is governed by the State Board of Nursing, which governs the profession, defines the disciplines, describes the scopes of practices, outlines responsibilities and functions, establishes statutes and rules, and describes the delegation process. The purpose and mission of the Missouri State Board of Nursing is to protect the public by development and enforcement of state laws governing the safe practice of nursing. The Missouri State Board of Nursing exists to govern and regulate the profession of licensed nurses, set standards for the approval of nursing schools, determine the scope of practice of licensed nurses, and defines who may use the title of registered nurse, licensed practical nurse, and advanced practice registered nurse within the state of Missouri. Rules are promulgated to provide guidance for the board to carry out the mandate of the Nurse Practice Act. The Board of Nursing is mandated to examine the applications of graduate nurses who request to be licensed in the state of Missouri after passing the NCLEX examination, or who apply for endorsement of their nursing license from another state or country. Licensees receive a 2-year license, with the RNs renewing on odd years and the LPNs renewing on the even years. Board members consist of 9 appointed members that are entrusted with the duty of ensuring that the RNs and LPNs licensed in Missouri comply with Chapter 335, thus creating an atmosphere of safe and effective nursing care in the interest of the public protection. In addition, they ensure laws are carried out effectively and make policies. In June 2010, Missouri became part of the Nurse Licensure Compact. Professional registration is required at www.pr.mo.gov/nursing and requires nurses to update State Board of Nursing with any changes such as address, name change, and etc. The statutes are laws which give the Board of Nursing the authority to exist and promulgate rules. 335.016 defines the licensee and provides responsibilities and functions. 335.066 discusses the denial, revocation, or suspension of license, grounds for civil immunity for providing information, and complaint procedures. 335.081 discusses exempted practices. The rules include 6 chapters. Chapter 1 discusses the organization of the Board of Nursing. Chapter 2 discusses the minimum standards for approved professional nursing programs. Chapter 3 discusses the minimum standards for approved practical nursing programs. Chapter 4 discusses the general rules of licensure, mandatory reporting, APRN, and CP. Chapter 5 provides a definition of proper supervision. Chapter 6 discusses IV infusion treatment, administration, and describes the RN supervision of LPN during IV infusion therapy. So what is your scope of practice? The Missouri State Board of Nursing's philosophy for a nurse's scope of practice is based upon his or her education, experience, training, skill, knowledge, and/or competence. Continued competence must be documented. Facility policies and/or regulatory bodies support and/or further restrict this practice. Scope of practice will include decision-making, practice parameters, and delegation. Scope of practice for the RN can be identified at the Missouri Governor Nursing website. The registered nurse is the designation given to an individual who is licensed to practice professional nursing, holds ultimate responsibility for direct and indirect nursing care, is a graduate of an approved school for professional nursing, and is currently licensed as a registered nurse. Included in such responsibility is providing nursing care, health maintenance, teaching, counseling, planning, and restoration for optimal functioning and comfort of those they serve. The RN has ultimate responsibility, provides appropriate assignments, teaches, directs, supervises, delegates, and evaluates. The RN is responsible for delegation and supervision of the unlicensed assistive personnel and LPNs. The RN maintains the ultimate responsibility and accountability for the management and provision of nursing care, even if they have delegated tasks. So what and how does an RN delegate? The RN delegates activities. The delegating nurse must complete the functions of assessment, planning, implementation, and evaluation. Activities the RN should not delegate include those that require assessment and judgment during implementation, physical or psychological and social assessments, which requires nursing judgment, intervention, referral, or follow-up, formulation of the plan of nursing care, and evaluation of the patient or client's response to the care that was provided, certain medication administrations, and health teaching and health counseling. Delegation incorporates a process. This process includes the delegation. You could check the criteria on the Nurse Practice Act website. So the questions you may ask is: delegation permitted? Is the delegator qualified to delegate? Assess the situation. Plan the specific tasks to be delegated. Assure appropriate accountability. Supervise the performance of the task. Evaluate the entire delegation process, and evaluate and adjust the overall plan of care as needed. There are 5 rights to delegation: the right task, the right circumstances, the right person, the right direction, instruction, or communication, and the right supervision. Here is a delegation decision tree that can assist you in identifying when to delegate and when not to delegate. Just follow the top. Your first thing you would ask: are there laws and rules in place that support the delegation? If yes, you go to the next line. If no, do not delegate. Statute 335.075 discusses the process of licensure verification. Before a nurse is hired in Missouri, an employer has to verify the applicant has a current, valid license to practice nursing. The verification is completed at www.nurses.com. Remember to review your Nurse Practice Act at http://www.pr.mo.gov/nursing.